created in the image of God. In particular, we love those who are unable to give back. We don't do so to earn God's favor, to earn anyone's love, to curry favor with the people around us, or to make sure that we get in heaven. We give as an expression of love that is inside us as we journey along that road, that path of sanctification, of becoming more Christ-like. You see, this service thing is really quite personal. God not only wants a new world modeled on the values of Jesus, God wants us. Amen. He wants to save us by touching our hearts and persuading us to care for people who are less fortunate than us. Amen. He wants us to be persuaded to not be so self-obsessed and concerned with our own wants and needs. You see, we are God's favorite project, you and me. Amen. He wants us to freely love. He wants to teach us the fundamental lesson, the secret, the truth to it all, that to love is to live.
Amen.
You see, giving and caring, particularly for those who are undervalued, is not an event. It is a lifestyle. As the kids said this morning, it's thanks living. It is the Christian lifestyle. Amen. I cannot tell you how many times when I've been involved in helping someone and they turn to me and they say, in essence, why are you doing this? What I gotta do? I can't pay this back. And my answer is always, that is what Christians do. No, you can't pay it back. No, you didn't earn it. No, you can't buy it. It is God's grace. Amen. Now, what did Luke say? If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? Even the sinners do that. And I think that's an expression of what we in our jargon today call risk-taking mission. That's where we step out of our comfort zone. It is where we are serving and are in relationship with those who are different from us. It is serving outside of these four walls. It's not just taking care of our own church. Make no mistake, we need to take care of our own church. But risk-taking mission is moving out into the world. You as a church are well aware and well acquainted with this. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir with your ministry under the bridge. You have probably found it at times to be uncomfortable, disturbing, time-consuming, inconvenient, difficult, thankless, and without having any impact. But you probably also found that God was with you. And He will be with you in the messiness and ambiguities of human life. And you have probably been the only church that some of these people will ever see. The other day I heard a story about an elder in a church who was asked to transport the youth to conduct church services once a month at a nursing home for the residents there. Now, this elder was kind of set in his ways, and he thought he'd probably already done enough. And he really liked to watch baseball and football on Sunday afternoon, and he really didn't want to do this. Because he knew they'd suck him in, and the next thing he knew, he'd be preaching at that church service, and he just didn't want to do it. Well, the minister said to him, look, I promise you, all you got to do is drive him there, stay the hour, drive him home. You don't have to do anything else. So he said, okay, I'll do it. He didn't like it, but he did it. So he took him out there the first Sunday, and he was standing at the back of the little chapel where they were having the service. And this very elderly man came wheeling up in a wheelchair. He had his head bowed. He never looked up. And he reached out and he took the elder's hand. He didn't shake his hand. He held his hand. And he held his hand for that entire hour. And then he never said anything, dropped his hand, and wheeled off. Well, I got to tell you, that was a little uncomfortable for that guy, manly guy that he was, to have some guy come hold his hand for an hour. So the next month when he went back, the same thing happened. The old man came wheeling in with his head bowed, took his hand, held his hand for an hour, and then left. And it happened the next month, and the next month, and the next month. This went on for about a year. Then one day, the elder came to the service, and the old man wasn't there. And he went to the desk, and he asked for him. And they told him that he was in his bed, in his room, and that he was dying. So he went back to see the old man. The old man was lying in the bed. His eyes were closed. He was unresponsive. The elder didn't know what to do. So he took his hand, and he held his hand, and he prayed. And as he finished his prayer, the old man very weakly squeezed his hand. And as the elder was leaving the room, he met a younger woman, a much younger woman, who turned out to be the old man's daughter. And he told him he'd been in praying with her dad. And he said, oh my gosh, I am so glad you came. He has been waiting for you. And the elder said, oh? She said, yes. He said that just one more time before he died, he wanted to hold Jesus' hand. He told me that every month Jesus came to see him, and he held his hand for 1 hour. And he wanted just one more time to hold his hand. So you see, out of his uncomfortableness, he became the Christ that man had to see. And you may be the only Christ that someone else has to see. Amen.
Thank you.